Hey, it's your boy Sirr of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to our sponsor, Black Renaissance Clothing. They have agreed to be the 2020 Podcast LLC's sponsor for the entire year. Yes, they are officially the sponsor of the 2020 Podcast LLC. So do me a favor. Anytime you feel like shopping and doing it for the culture, make sure you visit shopblackrenaissance.com. After perusing their vast library of articles of clothing, make sure you use the promo code LLC20 so you can get 20% off your total order. Yeah, 20% off. That is 1/5 of your order gone. Just like that. Bye. Thank you so much, Black Renaissance Clothing, for being our sponsor.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest be coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a peek at the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay silent just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us. Like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dough. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Sirr of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. And today I got a special guest, a local legend here, Josh Dagrepont of Dauphin Street Sound, the premier audio engineer of the city, bro. How are you doing today?
Appreciate that. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Man, I can't call it. I was excited to get this interview. Like I've been telling people, I've been following your page for a minute, not to sound stalkerish, but been following your page for a minute. And it's always a great feeling to get someone of your caliber here on this platform. So again, thank you for taking time out today.
Oh, for sure. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me, for sure.
No problem, bro. So we're going to go ahead and get cracking. So my first question is, with you being in the audio field, being behind the scenes, how long have you been vested in music?
Ooh, in general, just like total?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I started rapping when I was in high school. And that's kind of how this all started. And would skip school and go to my homie's house and go record and stuff like that. He had a Pro Tools rig. And I was always interested in what he was doing, while he was recording, because I didn't know nothing about it. And kind of started like everybody else. Got my own little rig from Guitar Center, paid a couple $100 for it, recording in my closet.
Yep.
Dropped a project out of my closet and thought I was going to blow up. Of course, that didn't happen. But yeah, but then things started rolling a little bit as I started to get into it more and taking it more serious. And when I ended up going to school for this, things are actually popping for me as an artist. But I was like, man, this ain't gonna, if this doesn't really pop off, then what?
Right.
And I was like, man, I could stay in the studio all day and not make a dime and be happy. Or, go to my crappy job and hate every 8 to 10 hours of it. I was like, if I can make this my job and my quote unquote plan B, I think I'll be straight, because I enjoy doing this. So that's what I did. But I got into all this from being a rapper. And so since high school, I'm 32 now. So I guess I've been doing this professionally for about 8 years now.
Wow.
So about the first, 5, 6, 7 years of it, I was strictly just an artist. But I've been tinkering with it for quite some time, though.
Wow, that's a hell of a story. I appreciate that honesty, because we're always about transparency. And it's always interesting, the serendipity of how you find your calling. You started out in one field as a rapper, but then curiosity got the best of you. You
Oh,
wanted
for
to
sure.
see what's behind the scenes. And I think that says a lot about a lot of people's character, about how far down the line you'll think, because you mentioned just now that while you were, working your job, you was thinking, if I could just make this my plan B, that alone tells me that you have an analytical mind.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
so I can tell. So with that being the case, and with that being your inspiration of wanting to see how it works in the background, over these last few years, learning your craft, have there been any obstacles that you had to overcome?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even going to school was an obstacle.
Mm,
There was, I'm gonna try to make it as short as I can, because it's a journey that people don't see. And I tell people this when we talk like one on one. But originally, I didn't have help from my parents and stuff like that, so I couldn't go to school myself until I turned 24. So I already had a late jump. I mean, I went to school like out of high school playing baseball and had a scholarship, all that cool stuff. But it wasn't for like audio. And I got hurt playing baseball, and after baseball, I didn't really know what to do. But as soon as I turned 24, I went to Full Sail. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to move to Orlando. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Everything's going to be good. And I was there for about a semester and a half, and they jacked up my financial aid. And I was forced to leave and come home. So I took that as like a fail, But I came back home for about 6 months or so and was just trying to figure things out. And I found the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences in Arizona, because I wanted to do more than music. Like, I didn't want to just go to Atlanta and just do music. Like, I wanted to learn this like audio thing, like whether it be TV, film, live sound, video gaming, post-production, whatever it is, I wanted to do it. And they offered the same education at a much lower price. And that was probably like the best move I've ever done. But even going out there was an obstacle, because they try to set you up, like make sure you have housing and money and all this other stuff. I have none of that shit. I lied to them, and I told them everything was good to go. And I remember before moving out there, I had like $280 in my pocket, and it took me $260 worth of gas to get there. Oh, now, mind you, I didn't have no place to stay. I told these people that, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'm good to go, because I really wanted to do it. And as I was driving, I'm on Craigslist, like trying to find a place to stay. And I had some gear in my truck, and I get to Arizona, my air conditioning like goes out in Texas. So it's like middle of summer, burning up. Oh, I didn't have money for like a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? So like I drove like 17 hours, pulled over, took a nap, then drove the rest of the way to Arizona. It was like a 22-hour drive. So I get to Arizona with like 20 something bucks in my pocket. And as I was going there, I found some ASU kid who had a room for rent. And he was like, yeah, dude, you can move in for like $500. And I was like, cool, $500 a month, I can swing that. I'll find some way to get it. He was like, since it's the middle of the month, I'll prorate you. You can move in right now for $250. I was like, sweet. So as soon as I got to Arizona, I went to like a pawn shop, and I took some of my gear, and I was like, yo, I need $250. I just drove from Alabama. I start work in like a week or two. I need to move in like right now. I'm like sweating and stuff because my air conditioner broke. Home dude, like, he was like, man, I can give you like $100 for this. And I was like, dude, I really need $250, bro. Like, I'm not trying to play the sympathy game. Like, I need this. I'm coming back to get it. Yada yada. He was like, yeah, all right, I'll give you $250 for it. I was like, sweet. So ended up moving to my apartment. Then my mom ended up sending me like $100 to make me last till I started working, like when I moved in. And yeah, when I started working, things started smoothing out a little bit, but it was definitely a journey. Like that's the struggle part that people don't see. But I really wanted to be there, because I've got buddies that probably would have given up, and I know people who have given up, because it was a scary thing. Like, that's across the country, you know what I'm saying? And it's just me and my clothes and a couple of little music things that I have, and just kind of taking that leap of faith. And yeah, so the obstacles have been there, and things have been better over the past few years. It's become like more of a real career, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, trying to find your way in this field is definitely an interesting thing. And that's part of the thing that people don't see. Because as I talk to, because I go to all these Grammy events, and I get to meet and work with cool people who've done all these great things, who've been in it 30 plus years and stuff like that. And everybody's story, including mine, the end result's the same. The path is a little bit different, but it's very similar. But at the end of the day, it's like we wanted to do this, and we did anything that we had to do this. So I knew if I could just tough it out a little bit and just like go past the BS and not get complacent, and not give up, because it was so easy to, because I mean, back here in Mobile, I mean, I had all the good jobs down here. Like I used to work at Mobile Aerospace. I used to work at Brookley Field. You know what I'm saying? Like I had good jobs, like good jobs that people would make careers out of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I hated it shit. You know, I hated every bit of it. So yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna do this. And of course, my dad, he was just like, nah, like, you might want to think about something else, like, because he didn't know anything about this. But right. I mean, when he sees me with like Morgan Freeman or getting like plaques and stuff, he's like, okay, like, I don't get what you do, but that's good, you know, that you're like supporting your family and making a living doing this now. Because this is all I do. Like, there's no secret side job like some people have. There's no secret side hustle or anything. It's like, I make records all day and I make noise and help people, you know, bring their visions to life. And I do still run live sound every now and then if I want to work a cool concert or something. Like I can handle all that. And that's why I wanted to go to school for more than just music. Because there's really nothing that gets thrown my way I can't handle. And if I don't know how to handle it, I figure it out really quick. So, and that's something that school taught me, like that confidence and just how to really just do my thing, no matter what challenges or obstacles get thrown at me. They like taught me how to just figure it out and make it happen. Don't show my sweat, you know what I mean? Don't show that I don't, you know, don't know what's going on, and and just make it happen. So yeah, obstacles, there's plenty of them. And even still to this day, there's road speed bumps that happen that people never know about, but they're there. Yeah.
All right.
They're definitely there.
Well, that's going to kind of, I'm glad you said that, because that's going to kind of play into my next question, because I understand everybody not seeing the whole picture of what you see. You know what I'm saying? You put yourself in a position where it wasn't an option. You were going to do this, period. Right. And I admire that. So kudos to you on that. Appreciate it. Let me ask you that. Now, since you're on the other end now, and you know what I'm saying, you're doing what you do, you're getting the accolades out the ass. All right? Let's just call a spade what it is. I just saw you get another plaque in the mail and you posted it on Facebook. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing to get that feeling, you know, to be able to do that. Because there will be people that won't experience that ever.
Right.
You know, and I'm hitting that home. So I was celebrating in my mind with you. It was like, wow, man. That's incredible, because a lot of people see that. And one thing I hear a lot is people downplay the success of other people who pursued their dreams. But I learned that is because of a stagnancy. Like you said, don't get complacent and just chase your dream. So congratulations to you, bro.
Appreciate
congratulations. So my next question, with this being what you do now, how do you balance like work and your personal life? Like there's, you know, like how do you find that middle ground?
It's funny. We joke about it here all the time. Like myself and Keelan, we run the place, and we joke about it all the time. How our old ladies always give us shit. It's almost an everyday thing. What time are you home? I think around 6. Okay, cool. 8:30 rolls by. Where are you at? I got caught up doing this mix. I promise I'm coming. The next thing I know, it's like midnight. The balance is weird because we get so lost in it. But I will say it's very, very important, because like, just like Keelan, you know, I have kids too. I have 2 kids. So it's very important to balance that. I know some guys who are still, or who've been doing this for a while and they're still like on the come up. They just live in the studio all day. Like they won't really spend time with their families, spend time with their kids if they got them. You know, they're just like making beats and recording literally all day, which is great. I respect the grind, but that time doesn't come back. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So I tried my best to make some time. And we're pretty good about it here, to where it's like, hey man, I'm kind of burnt. Fam's getting a little irritated. I'm gonna take a day or two and we're gonna go do something. Cool. You know, like the wheels are still turning here. Like we have a cool small little team that works well together. So I know if I dip out for 2 days, nothing's really gonna get missed. Right. And I'm like, hey, if someone wants to book a session, I'm not available. So I'm available a couple of days from now or something. So, but I will say, like, the ratio is probably like a good, I don't know, I'll probably work 2-3 weeks straight and get like a day off type thing, you know, without even knowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, weekends don't mean anything to us. People are like, oh man, it's Friday. I don't know what that means, just because we're always working, but it doesn't feel like work, you know?
Right.
But that balance, man, it's we do our best. I'll say that we do our best, and to have that family balance, because it is super important. But having someone who understands that on the other end, my old lady, it's like, yeah, she gets pissed, but she gets it, you know. And when she sees some of like the reward that comes out of it, she's not as mad anymore, you know. But you know, we fight with it every day. She actually, before this happened, she that's funny you say that. She's like, hey, what time you home? And I was like, I'll be home at like 6. And I was like, oh wait, I got this interview to do. I'll be home like 7:30. And she was like, oh cool, okay, whatever. And I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, the balance is important. Yeah,
all right, sure. Cool. Shout out to the missus. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Josh, because you know, with you really being in music since you were in high school, and you being my age, you have a bevy of memories. So is there one particular memory overall that you would say, yo, this is it. This is why I'm in the engineering, you know, audio engineering business for?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one, ain't it?
Yeah, that was a good one. Because there's not really just one, you know. I had those. I will say the most recent moment like that is like, okay, this is why I do this, was with Flo Millie, actually, because I was the very first person to ever record her when she was in high school. And actually, I'm in Studio B now. We were here in Studio B, and the sofa's right next to my left. She was sitting on this sofa, our very first session, or it was like the second session, whatever it was, and she was like, man, I'm gonna be famous one day. And I was like, that's what's up. Like, just, you know, keep pushing, like, hope so, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when she finally got her record deal and we've built this cool like relationship, you know, like, because I mean, we just talk more in the studio. It's not always about business. She's really into like astrology and stuff like that, so we'll talk about like stars and like normal stuff, you know.
Right.
Like, say normal, you know what I mean? But to see her literally come from this 18-year-old in high school to on top of the world, from Mobile,
right? And
people are like, you can't make it from Mobile. That's bullshit. Like, I've seen it happen, you know, not just her, but like Blue. But Flo's a little different because I actually was hand in hand throughout the whole thing.
Right.
So to see her happy and doing what she wants to do and being successful at it, it's like, all right, cool. Like, this is why I do this. You know what I mean? Like, her vision has come to life. She's living out her dreams, and I got to play a small part in it. You know what I mean? And to see that is like, okay, this is why I do this, is for this, like, to see people become successful and live out their dreams and work hard at it, because nothing was handed to her also. So, and people think it's, yeah. And, you know, people think that we're just like, people in our positions just like have all these cool connects and all this other stuff. That's not true, you know? But yeah, I think that would probably be it, to see people, even if they don't like blow up, quote unquote, you know, just to see them leave the studio with something that they're happy with, to bring that vision to life, is really is what really gets my gears going doing this. You know, that's the part I really enjoy about it, for sure.
Okay. I like that. I understand. I often say, and with you saying you guys talk about astrology, I feel more freely about what I'm about to say. I think the thing about artists is that the closest we'll ever come to understanding what it is to feel like god or a goddess is when you can create something.
Yeah.
Because it's yours. It's a unique
Mhm.
sound. It's a unique thing that you did. You took it from an idea and you manifested it.
Right.
So I can understand that on a spiritual level with what you guys meant. So yeah, that's dope. Word to Flo Millie, man. Hope to interview you one day. All right. So my next question is the inverse of that, because that's one thing about 2020. We like to look at both ends of the spectrum. So Josh, at any point, did you feel like you wouldn't be successful? And if so, who or what changed your mind?
Oh yeah. I think leaving Arizona and going to Atlanta was, I had to do an internship to officially graduate, and I chose to do it in Atlanta because it was closer to home.
Makes sense.
Most of my friends went to LA because it's right there next door to Arizona.
Oh yeah.
But going through that, my internship was terrible. I love visiting in Atlanta, but I found out quick I hate living there. And after my internship was done, I quit the studio where I was at and linked up with some people and started doing some cool things. And I worked with some pretty big artists and wasn't getting credit for it, wasn't really getting paid much, if at all, for it. I was like, man, this is how this is. Like, this sucks. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of made me feel like, all right, this ain't what it's all hyped up to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then when I came back home, really, I was just supposed to be here for a few months when I came back from Atlanta. And I was actually planning to move to Seattle. But this studio happened. Jake Peavy built the studio. And this console that I'm sitting next to, I'm one of the very few people down here that know how to work it. And Keelan actually reached out and was like, hey, man, don't you know how to use this SSL console? And I was like, yeah, man. So he's like, man, let's get you an interview. We'll pull you in and you can, start building with us and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, all right, I'd be stupid to move because what they're trying to do with me, it would take me 10, 15 years to do in a larger market. So when the studio built, I was like, all right, I'm actually making a living doing this. Like, I can quit Guitar Center now. Like, this is what I'm doing. It actually got me on payroll. This is cool. That's when I started to feel like, all right, this is cool. Like, this is actually happening. I can do this. And at the time when the studio was being first built, it wasn't on this high level that compared to what I was doing in Atlanta. So I was just like, okay. You don't need to work with so and so and so and so. That looks cool for Facebook and social media, but that wasn't paying my bills. Facts. Like, at the end of the day, I want to do this for a living. I don't want to work with cool people and go work at Publix or Guitar Center or something. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm not going to put that on Facebook. There's nothing glamorous about that. No disrespect to anybody who does that. Right. You got to make a living. I respect it. But no, that was like where it turned. And I was like, all right, maybe this, I guess to answer your question, that's what kind of pulled me out of it and was like, all right, like, I can do this. This is how this really works. And I figured out quick that the accolades would come. But the important thing was, I want to do this for a living. So this is me doing it for a living. There's thousands of me out there that you'll never hear about. Because like you said, not everybody is going to have, I guess, mainstream success with it to where they get, the awards and things like that. But they're making $60,000 to $100,000 a year working out of their home studio. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, yeah, it's not as flashy as getting plaques and Grammys, but you're making a pretty damn good living, right? Doing something you love. You know what I'm saying? So when I started realizing, yeah, I can keep chasing these big names and doing stuff to quote, like, kind of build my resume, I guess, if you want to call it that. It wasn't really going to turn into that career because financially it wasn't happening, and I work with some pretty big people in Atlanta and I wouldn't be getting paid shit, that's which is terrible, and I have buddies in the industry now where I have to call them and yell at them like, yo, you need to get your credits. Okay, cool. This person's pulling you on the road. They need to pay you. Like, why are you asking us for money? Like, we'll give you some money and help you out. But the point is, you should be getting paid, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what you're doing is cool and it's great. But when people aren't looking, you're struggling. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the turning point when I just had to realize, like, okay, let me make this my living, and all the cool stuff will follow.
So. That is. All right. Well, I love that, bro. That's very inspirational, to be honest with you. And the fact that you've been there and you're relaying to the next generation that, hey, I've done that. Speak your mind, speak your piece, get your due diligence. It's a lot of people that get by, over people who don't have the courage to say something. So the fact that you break that cycle is amazing, bro. That says a lot about your character. Real talk.
Yeah.
So my next question is kind of my infamous question. And I say that is because it forces people to think long term. And sometimes that catches people off guard. So where would you like to see yourself, Josh, in the next 1 year, 3 years, and then 10 years?
That's a good question. 1 and 3 is probably already mapped out.
Okay.
Within the next year, currently the front of the studio is getting turned into a music store.
Oh, that's dope.
And there's some things happening right now behind the scenes to where within the next 1 to 3 years, myself and Keelan will own this place. So that's our 1 to 3 year plan that's already in effect. And we're just putting our pieces of the puzzle together to make it happen. So within the next 1 to 3 years, we will own the studio, which is really cool. And 10 years from now, I am working really hard on getting a solid crew put together to where I don't have to sit behind these consoles all the time and book sessions and make calls and do this, that, and the third. Myself and Keelan, we could be on vacation in Jamaica or something, and this place is still making tons of money, and we're still living good, and we're happy. And for the simple fact that we are in charge of this place, we still get some of the accolades just because we're still part of it. You know what I mean? But the long-term goal is to be a real like boss and owner, to where, I mean, the owner of Walmart's not sitting at the cash register.
These are facts.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to be able to educate and train people to do this on a high level, to where it doesn't matter if it's someone in high school getting their feet wet or if it's Lil Wayne, you can handle it, because some people can't handle that. And we won't have to think twice about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that they're going to come in, they're going to crush it, they're going to make the place look good, our reputation look good as a studio and as a business. And we can just kind of take that foot off the gas pedal ourselves and be like, all right, let's kind of let them do it, and let's keep this ball rolling so this place stays on a business level, because we want people to remember and want to come here to Dauphin Street Sound, not so much come to Josh and Keelan. You know what I'm saying?
The brand.
This place can shut down tomorrow, and it doesn't matter. We'll still be working, just because we've built our clientele and things like that. But we're trying. The 10-year plan is to have this place so badass, and we are helping the scene down here. Like, we see it happening. Like, stuff is happening now with Blue and Flo and Cap and Rilo and people like that. Like, Mobile's building. It's becoming this small Atlanta thing.
Right.
We're fortunate enough to be a part of that, and we notice it. It's not one of those things like we're going to notice it when it's too late. It's like, all right, we can compete with the big dogs. Let's keep this going. And in 10 years from now, we'd be chilling, and, you'll be sitting next to us in the Bahamas doing interviews with the other engineers here.
Yeah, right. What I heard was legacy. That's exactly what I heard, legacy. So that's important, man. And the fact that you guys are looking forward now, and with you having that analytical mind that I heard in the beginning of this interview, that lets me know that you're forward thinking enough to say, hey, it's dope to do this for a living, but I want to chill in a chair somewhere and sip on something,
Yeah. And I got that from Jake, because Jake Peavy, he's the one that built the place. He's an ex-baseball player. He's retired now or whatever. And I remember when this place first opened, you know, he came to me in Keelan and was like, man, one day I want you guys to have your feet up in the office and have a crew running this place for you. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago. And that just kind of stuck with me and resonated. So now that we're in the position to do so, absolutely, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Like I said, the owner of Walmart's not stocking at night. You know what I'm saying? He's off making moves to help his business. But if he wants family time, going back to your other question, he can just go spend time with the folks and his business is still making money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's building that legacy is more of a, yeah, we want to do things ourselves and do it cool, but it's not all about us. Like I don't care if one of the other engineers like, hey, you want to do this session? Cause I just don't feel like doing it. I want to go home. Cool. And that record goes platinum. Or they win a Grammy or whatever. I don't care. Like I'm happy for them, you know, because we're a team, you know what I'm saying? I think that's where the disconnect is with most people around here. It's me. But they don't know if you help somebody else do something, the first person that they're going to call is you to go along with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I see. And no, legacy is perfect. I think that's the great way to describe it, is to build a legacy here. And I think we're slowly doing it. I think it's happening.
Yes, sir. I agree with you, man. Especially with the look what's behind you. You know what I'm saying? Look, you know, so that's you're doing it, brother. You're doing it. So Josh, this is going to bring me to my closing question. And this is my favorite one because I think it encapsulates everything that this interview has kind of told me about you. So the hardest thing to do is take a dream and really pursue it. You know, it's the scariest as well. What words of encouragement would you have for someone who has a dream, but they're afraid to pursue it?
I would say just go for it, as cliche as that sounds. Some people who I do talk to about this, the kind of the easy way I put it is like, it's like jumping into a swimming pool. You go up there and put your foot in it and it's really cold. You're not going to jump in it. You just go for it and jump in it. It's cold for a little bit and you kind of get used to it and you're good to go. Just jump into the pool. You know what I mean? The more you ponder and think about it and do this, that, and the third, the longer you have time to think on reasons why not to do it. So if you just go ahead and do it, I mean, pull the Band-Aid, just rip the Band-Aid off. You know what I mean? Just get it over with. Just go for it. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to fail. If you don't fail, how do you know what success is if you don't fail? You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
So, and on this journey personally, people are like, the journey is the most beautiful part of anything. And as I look back, it's true. It's driving to Arizona with no money in my pocket. It's buying $20 worth of 50-cent tacos at Jack in the Box to last me 2 weeks. Like, it's those type of things I look back on. I'm like, man, that's what helped build my character. That's who helped build who I am. That keeps me humble. You know, like, I'm not too good to do anything. You know, I mean, before we got on this call, I was in there mopping the hallway. We have interns. I have an assistant, but the hallway's dirty. I'm not too good to take out the trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, I humble myself. And people need to learn to do that. And people who are chasing their dreams or want to chase their dreams, just go for it. Yeah, it's going to be scary. Like I said, it's going to suck in the moment. But once you get past that dark period and things start getting, if you keep pushing, you're eventually going to go where you need to go. And that's something that people don't do because they get scared and they're like, oh crap, I'm broke, I'm hungry, I don't have the newest Jordans, you know, like, people are going to talk about me. Who cares what people think? Like, focus on you. And then at the end of the day, people are going to see all this cool stuff you're doing and you're going to be happy and you're finally going to be living your dreams and everything's going to be cool. And that's what people are going to see. But when no one's around you, you're going to think back to the struggle and how you just dove in and you're so glad that you did it. And because I could easily still be working at Brookley Field, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go for it. And it actually pushed me harder to pursue my dream, because it was just like, I'm not doing this for nothing. Like, I gave up so much to jump into this pool. The last thing I'm gonna do is drown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna kick, I'm gonna push, I'm gonna try to float. And as long as I can float enough to swim to the other side, I'm gonna be good. And that's what I did. Just go for it and don't give up. It's gonna suck, but trust me, it's worth it. And the last thing you want to do is be 60 or 70 and say, I wish I would have.
That's it right there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it right there. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Josh, if anybody wanted to get in contact with you, whether it be about audio design or engineering, general questions, or they want to book an appointment, they want to set up a session, what's the best way to get in contact with you at Dauphin Street Sound?
Probably through email, just because I feel bad. I don't check my text messages and Facebook messages, for instance, that often. Email is just Josh, Josh, at dauphinstreetsound.com. So it's DauphinStreetSound.com. So it's pretty simple. Just Josh at dauphinstreetsound.com. I think I check my email way more than I do my cell phone. So that's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me, for sure.
I'm guilty as well, bro, so don't feel bad. So, but
and I'm not hard to get in touch with. Like, I've talked to people that were like, man, I've been trying to get in touch with you forever. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't check Facebook that often, but you know where I'm at. Just come ring the doorbell. I'm not going to bite your head off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right. And
people watching, if you know where the studio's at, just come by. Like, we're not some secret, I don't know what you want to call it, like secret thing. You have to have a golden Willy Wonka ticket to come in here. It's right. Some people get intimidated and they feel that way until they actually get here and they're like, oh, they're really cool. But
that says something about your prestige, though,
Yeah. And I get it, because that I look back on it, people like Trina Shoemaker. She works out of here too. She's a 5-time Grammy Award-winning engineer, done all this cool stuff. And that's how I kind of felt first getting around her. And then after getting to know her a while, it's just like, oh, she's just like us. She's one of the boys almost, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're not going to bite y'all head off. And I get it. Like, looking from the outside and, being on the outside looking in, I get it, because I've been there before. But just letting everybody know it's okay. Like, just come ring the doorbell, just come say what's up or something, We're not going to tell you to get the hell out of our face or anything like that. Like, it's all good. Like, everybody's cool, So, yeah.
That is. Well, Josh, again, thank you for taking time out of your day to do this interview and being featured on the 2020 podcast. We appreciate you here, bro. Again, congratulations on your latest plaque, bro. That is huge. Word to Flo Millie, word to you, word to Dauphin Street Sound. And with that being said, this has been your boy Sirr of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. And we are out.